Yo, yo, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. In the building. Salute to the Freedom March and Freedom family, freedom lovers and freedom fighters out there. And salute to the mighty LDBC. This morning, I'm going to hit you all upside the head with this paper. I want to just do a brief discussion about the death of El Mencho and what that really means for the cartels. What that really means for smuggling, drug smuggling, and whatnot. How that is really going to affect us in the United States. Salute to Realize in the building. I just want to do a quick little discussion about it. Now, I think it was Sunday, the 22nd, when El Mencho was killed. Salute to Realize in the building. Salute to the beautiful Queen Sister Cam. Salute to you. Salute to the beautiful Realize in the building as well. What does this mean? The death of El Mencho, who is a notorious drug cartel leader that was just taken out this past Sunday by Mexico Special Forces, where about 25, they say. It's reported that 25 National Guardsmen for Mexico was killed in the raid, right? So this is something that we should understand about these cartels. These cartels, they will get into firefights with law enforcement in Mexico, right? And so you can imagine why the Mexican government is kind of hesitant to even go after these cartel leaders, because the cartels themselves are heavily armed, right? They're heavily armed, they're heavily manned, and they will get into a firefight with the government, right? Not so much in the United States, right? If you won't really find a bunch of shootouts between, drug organizations, drug dealing organizations in the United States and the government, right? Right? Our law enforcement in the United States, they'll perform their raids, and there won't be a lot of, you won't find 25 law enforcement members getting murked by drug dealers in the United States, right? That's not really how that's going to happen here. But in Mexico, they will have a shootout with you. They don't care about law enforcement like that. And a lot of them are tied to law enforcement. A lot of the cartels have quite a bit of law enforcement and military in their back pocket. A lot of cartel members are prior military. So this is how it is in Mexico. In Mexico, the cartels are heavily entrenched in the power structure. They might as well be like a political party in Mexico, right? And of course, you got different cartels that go at each other. You'll have all these wars. As a matter of fact, there is a kind of like a cartel war going on in Sinaloa right now between two different cartel organizations. So this is a normal thing in Mexico, right? And the death of El Mencho just proves that, how powerful the cartels are. Salute to the brother Insane in the building. And the reason I say that, even though they were able to capture and kill El Mencho, he was wounded during the raid, and when he was being airlifted, he died. But what did it take just to get him? It took the death of 25 National Guardsmen, right? 25 National Guardsmen. So these cartels are militaries in and of themselves. They're well armed. They have a lot of bread. You know what I'm saying? Because not only do they operate in drug smuggling, they also operate in sex trafficking. Yes. Child sex trafficking, adult sex trafficking, right? They are a huge part. They play a huge role in child sex trafficking. That's just the reality, right? That's what's going on with these Mexican cartels. They participate heavily in the trafficking of children and the trafficking of individuals that don't want to be trafficked. They smuggle people, not just drugs. They facilitate. They work with these non-government organizations and government organizations alike to move children around in South America, in Central America. Trust and believe that. And when Joe Biden was president, and he told all them people to come up here and cross the border all willy-nilly. Oh yeah, they snatched up a lot of children. You understand what I'm talking about? So many children were kidnapped and thrown into the sex trade during that time, during the Biden administration, when they basically told all these people to come up here, and they gave these people hope. These people in South America, Central America, that felt like they were getting away from something, right? Refugees, so to speak. They wanted to get away from the poverty of their nation, the troubles of their nation, and they thought coming to America would help them out. A lot of them, yeah, they got caught up in the sex trafficking trade. So these Mexican cartels, I don't have a problem with the drugs as much as I have a problem with the smuggling and the murder and the terrorism that they commit. The actual, they will kill children. They will kill your wife. They will kill your child. They don't care. And they're ruthless and evil. And they operate as they do, largely in part due to the United States government involvement, right? You see, in reality, our government helps these cartels get what they get cracking. Whether they're moving drugs, weapons, or children and women and vulnerable children and women, our government facilitates that, right? They do. It just simply is what it is. So do these non-government organizations, right? They drive these people right into the arms of the cartel. It's all part of the game, in my opinion. This whole thing during the Biden administration, when they had millions and millions of people flood into the country, a lot of them were snatched up, and I think that was part of the plan. They all the same. We are just poor people watching. Absolutely. Salute to Ed Romero. Stormy B-Man is in the banner. Salute to the Sensei Stormy B-Man. Salute to y'all. Salute to Cindy. Republicans told them to come, not Biden. I don't, it doesn't matter. Biden did tell them to come. Yeah, he did. Biden told them to come. I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't really even matter. It happened during the Biden administration because the powers that be wanted it to happen during the Biden administration, so that when Trump came in, he can shut down the border and give you the impression that voting for somebody to rule over you makes a difference, right? That it just is what it is. Republicans had a hand in it. Stormy Beeman, they fucked your live off? Man, that's crazy, man. Make sure you drop your link. Y'all go check out Stormy B-Man if you want some good boxing talk and nerd culture. You're new to my Chanel. Salute to you, Samantha. Salute to you. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. So, Yeah, of course they did, right? These are the vicious cycles that we go in and out of within this government to give you the impression that uh, voting someone in and out of government to rule over you makes a difference. Like, it's going to help you, right? So they'll do little things here and there to help you and make you think that they're actually doing something for you when in reality they're not. Because if they do something that may appear to be in your favor, in the next cycle they'll just take it away. Am I American? Sure. Mayweather fighting again? Man, I don't know what he's doing. I heard he said he was fighting Mike Tyson. Now he's fighting Pat. I don't know what Floyd is doing. I don't really know what he's doing, man. The bottom line is this, man. Now there is a huge power vacuum that is going to occur in Mexico, and it's going to they're afraid it's going to create a civil war in Mexico. Sebastian, I don't know why you're asking that question. Are you gay? Is that why you're asking me? Are you homosexual? I don't understand why that's important to you. Crazy work. Yeah, they're tearing shit down in Mexico. They're tearing shit down in Mexico, and I'm trying to figure out why Donald Trump hasn't gone in there and just destroyed all the Mexican cartel strongholds. Why hasn't he gone in there and kidnapped all these? Why hasn't he snatched up the Mexican cartel leaders like he snatched up Maduro from Venezuela, the president of Venezuela? Why not? Why not? Why not? Because he declared war on the cartels, did he not? So why is it that the cartels in Mexico aren't being destroyed by our government? Why is it that the Mexican government should be cleaning up their own fucking problems, right? But we know that the Mexican cartels have their hands all up and through the government, right? It is, the corruption is crazy in the Mexican government, and there might be a lack of trust, right? But they were able to go in there and take down a drug cartel leader, which many believe that it doesn't really matter, right? Because someone's just going to take their place. The problem is you have to destroy the resources, the infrastructure of the cartels. That is the important thing. And that's something that our government can do. Julia Morin, yeah, I am married. Yes, thank you, though. Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm married, yes, but, Mexico is its own country, but it's intrinsically, it's inexorably tied to the United States. Yeah. Our economy is tied to Mexico and vice versa, right? Just like all the drugs that come into the United States, all the illegal drugs, yeah, they come through Mexico. We're intrinsically tied to Mexico, just like we're intrinsically tied to Canada. Do I know who rewrote the Testament? I don't know. Brad Lang says, absolutely, you know how much he cares about drug abuse. LOL, even though he pardoned. Yeah. Well, we know Donald Trump's full of shit. Yes, we are in crazy times, Sarah. Salute to Latressa Montgomery. Salute to you this morning. War on drugs has been going on for decades. Well, it's not really a war on drugs. It's a war on people. The war on drugs is just a reason to strip more rights away from people. It is what it is. If people want to do drugs, they should be, that's their prerogative, right? The idea, you're not going to stop people from doing drugs by having a war on drugs. That's not how that works. Right? Because people will still do drugs. As a matter of fact, you're creating the black market. So when you prohibit drugs and alcohol and whatnot, you're going to create a black market for it. So people that desire these things, they're going to go get it somehow, some way. At least if it were not prohibited, it could be regulated. It could be, you could have industries that make sure that the drugs are not heavily, contaminated or whatever the case may be. But then again, maybe not, because, look at the opioid crisis in the United States. A lot of pharmaceutical drugs are harmful to people. So, it really doesn't matter, right? They got, the government sanctioned drug dealers, big pharma. They put out drugs that kill people all the time. So in reality, you can't really get away from it. People are going to do drugs. They're going to be presented with drugs. Drugs are going to be pushed onto them by one industry or another, whether it's in the black market or whether it's in big pharma. Prohibition didn't work, and it's not working now, and it'll never work. It creates more problems. At least in big pharma, big pharma is a government legitimized drug dealing organization. But you don't have the level of violence and death that you get from the black market, right? So if you remove the prohibition, you wouldn't have the cartels, right? You wouldn't need the cartels to smuggle drugs. You wouldn't need the cartels to sell it illegally because it's legal, right? So if cocaine were legal, it would be part of the trade agreement. You send us some, hey, it is what it is. People like to use cocaine. They do cocaine. They wouldn't have to worry about going through an intermediary who has to worry about getting snitched on and competitors and what happens in those cases. If you run an illegal drug organization, you got to worry about snitches. You got to worry about competitors, right? Now, you got to worry about competitors in the legitimized drug world, but you don't have to worry about snitches. And the level of violence that comes from selling drugs on a black market to avoid prosecution would not be necessary. You remove prohibition, you remove the violence that's involved. Now, the drugs themselves are another problem. That's a whole separate problem. Can we get a shout out to my father, Bronco Warrior? Salute to your father. May you rest in power. Yes, hit the like button, y'all, please. Yes. Okay, got a little. But yes. So the reason we're having these problems in Mexico in the first place is because of the war on drugs, right? Way long ago. Remember President Nixon declared a war on drugs, and it created these different, class, whatever the fuck. When you do that, you're creating problems. You're creating a violent atmosphere because when you have demand, you're going to have supply. So the black market is going to supply the people that demand what they want. And so it creates an atmosphere of violence that's not necessary. That would not be necessary if drugs were not prohibited. If drugs weren't prohibited, you wouldn't have the level of violence that you have. You wouldn't have this thing going on in Mexico. You wouldn't need to declare war on the cartel if drugs were not prohibited. Now, mind you, you will still have illegal activity even if drugs weren't prohibited, because you still have people reselling the drugs, right? They'll get a prescription and they'll sell the prescription to somebody or whatever the case may be. But the bottom line is, people smuggle cigarettes, right? It is what it is. Cigarettes are legal, but people will smuggle cigarettes. Well, they used to smuggle cigarettes. They used to sell. They used to do that. It used to be a big part of the mafia. The mafia used to do that, right? So Mexican government killed someone. Who said I was blaming Trump? The Mexican government did it, and Donald Trump said he was declaring a war on the Mexican cartels. and has it on the cartels and hasn't taken out one single cartel leader. Hasn't, not one. And the reason that is because the Mexican cartels help our government stay in power, right? The Mexican cartels are an instrumental part of the child sex trafficking trade. Right? Bill Clinton declared mandatory minimum sentences. Yeah, well, that was because of the 94 crime bill that Joe Biden introduced he introduced that. Bill Clinton just signed it into law. He just signed it into law. He didn't create the bill. He signed it into existence. Oh yeah, they absolutely make money for our country. The Mexican cartels are a huge part of the elite class's economy. Not our economy. It doesn't benefit me and you. It benefits the elite class. The Mexican cartels and their activities benefit the elite class. They help provide for the desires of these elites. It is what it is. Anyway, guys, gotta get out of here. Thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate you. You guys stay tuned, for more papers upside your head as we continue to move through this world that we call the Earth. Realize says Trump and MAGA supporters have pledged your allegiance to a pedophile. You must have no children, so you all must be pedophiles as well. Well, that's one way to look at it. I mean, if you don't have a problem with PDF files, I'm looking at you kind of funny style. Anyway, much love. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure y'all hit that like button on the way out, man. All right, hit the like button on the way out. Don't be a hater, okay? Don't be hate watching and ninja watching, okay? So, both of y'all support COD. I don't know what that is. Anyway.